Yo, what is up, my Knights of the Round Table, and welcome to part 2 of my Us movie review. This will be a more heavy spoiler movie review, so be warned. If you're not want the movie to be spoiled for you, please go watch my non-spoiler review, where I go more of the fundamentals of the movie. Now this, I'm going to be going headfirst on the spoiler territory and explain a lot of the things about the movie I liked and disliked, and go in depth to the story that Jordan Peele was creating in this. So you've been warned, and so if you have not seen the film and want to not be spoiled, I'd suggest you pause the video, exit out, and go to my non-spoiler review. With that being said, let's get this underway. Now, Jordan Peele's Us, as I said in the very last video of the non-spoiler review, is a very well made scary movie. It has originality and it keeps its tone and is a very creepy and unsettling film. While not particularly scary and never particularly groundbreaking, it does have a certain allure to it and have a certain swagger to it, I guess you would say. It makes you... It's so distinctive and so different that it's what makes it a standout film, and that's exactly, I think, why Jordan Peele was the perfect, man for the job for this movie, with writing it and directing it and producing it. And that's what he was really going for. He wanted a scary movie that would stick out from the rest, and this is what he got. And now this movie I would give about 6 out of 10 stars, or 6.8 out of 10 stars, because the movie is very well made. It is creepy and unsettling, and the characters are well developed. There's not really a character you'll particularly hate, but the movie's faults lie within the origin story of its main villains.
We can get crazy.
Now, this is where things go into spoiler territory. Now, these characters, they're called the Tethered, are like doppelgangers. They're basically doppelgangers. They live in the underground tunnels of the Earth. Some, I believe, man-made. Some are existing, like old abandoned subway tunnels that serve no purpose for miles beneath the ground. They have been hiding here for God knows how long.
They know
it
where we are.
seems like everybody on Earth has a
we need to move and keep
doppelganger
moving.
of their own. At least almost everybody. Now, this is where the film really loses its place, its footing, and lost a lot of my praise. Because this origin is very unsatisfying. It leaves too much to the imagination and gives zero to no real answers. You are left to fill in the details with not much information given, and the information given does not make sense. Basically, the Tethered started off as some kind of government experiment to control people, but it was shut down and they were driven underground to rot. So somehow, a few experiments underground caught up millions of years of human evolution in terms of population, or at least somewhat caught up, and lived undisturbed, undiscovered underground for all these years.
Zora, put your shoes on.
If you want to
So
get
basically,
crazy,
the government
we can get crazy.
made the Tethered. I guess they were experimenting with controlling people like puppets. That's what they said. The Tethered are human. They have flesh. They have blood. They're basically human, except it's like one mind, two bodies. They are forced to do whatever their surface counterparts do as well. Basically, they are like doppelgangers, and this is where they contradict themselves. They said that they were experiments, but yet the day your counterpart is born is the day you're born.
We need to move and keep moving.
And that there are one mind sharing two bodies. How are they killing each other? Like, their doppelgangers are killing people around the world. So if they're not killing themselves, how are their doppelgangers killing them? This is where the movie falls flat and becomes contradicting itself. Now, the idea of the movie is very good, but I feel like the origin was poorly executed and very unsatisfactory and gave no real explanation. there were so many plot holes and so many
Kidding, right?
questions I had about the
Not kidding.
excuse me,
I think it's
origins of
vodka
these
clock.
villains,
Oh yeah.
Where's Jason?
and I felt very unsatisfied with the information I was given. So I really was hoping for some kind of mirror dimension, or just like the
I didn't know if
old-fashioned
you were
doppelganger
lost.
saying, where
Stick
one of
with
you was
me. I'll
born,
keep you safe.
another you exists somewhere, or maybe they're like from the shadow dimension, something like that. But what we got was some kind of failed
There's a family in
experiment
our driveway.
It's
to
probably
make
the
people
neighbors.
puppets,
But y'all scared of a family?
and but created
Hi, can
a
I help you?
look-alike for everybody in the known world, or at least everybody in the known
Put
movie.
your shoes on.
If you want to get
This makes
crazy,
little to no sense, as the characters
can
are the
get
same age as their circus counterparts and do the same things their circus counterparts are doing, as it's shown in the film, where everybody having a good time at the carnival. They're down below, their doppelgangers are doing the same stuff they're doing, relatively different.
you people.
Now, these underground tunnels are very weird because it looks more like an asylum hallway. It's a
They
very
look
long,
exactly
tile,
like
marble
us.
hallway, lit
They
up
think
everywhere.
like
There's
us.
multiple doors everywhere, multiple rooms. This
They
has
know
been
where
built and
we
set
are.
up perfectly.
We need to
It seems
move
to
and keep
grow
moving.
forever. Now,
They won't stop until they kill us. Or we kill them.
when this movie started else going wrong, was I felt the ending was also unsatisfactory. It ended as it began, which was something good.
He's kidding,
But
right?
the way they pulled it off, basically the movie starts out in the carnival
Oh,
in
yeah.
1986, and you see on the TV they're talking about the group joining of Locking Arms in protest.
Jason?
I cannot remember what they were protesting, but I'll
I
have to
didn't
look
know
this
if
up
you were
later, so forgive me if I
lost.
don't
Stick
know.
with me. I'll keep you
But
safe.
so, as you see that on the TV, you see the little girl with her drunken dad and her mom. You know, the parents are obviously estranged
There's
from
a
one
family in
another,
our driveway.
obviously argue with one
Probably the
another all the
neighbors.
time.
But y'all
They're
scared
at
of
the
a family?
carnival, you know, he's throwing a baseball,
Can I
winning
help
her a
you?
prize, which would be a Michael
Zora.
Jackson Thriller t-shirt.
Put your
A
shoes
little
on.
callback
If
to
you
the
want to
80s.
get crazy,
And she wanders off
we can
as
get
the mother
crazy.
goes to go to the bathroom. The father's playing whack-a-mole, and the little girl wanders off to a hall of mirrors, and she sees a reflection, except she's staring at the back of her reflection's head, and it turns around and looks at her. So basically, shit was going down off jump. Like, you have the little girl's reflection looking at her.
It's us.
They
Now it flash forward, you know,
You hear Gabe got
to
a
present day, 2019.
He's kidding, right?
He's not kidding. Hey, I think it's vodka clock.
Then
Where's Jason?
you see the little girl is now grown up and has her own family. And as you see the movie progress, you see a bit more flashbacks of what happened. Now, supposedly, after encountering her moving reflection, the little girl ran
Stick with me. I'll keep you safe.
and developed a form of PTSD where she just did not speak at all anymore. And they took her to a child therapist where she refused to talk, and the mother's crying and
There's a
blaming the
family in our
father.
driveway.
And she's like, I just want my daughter back. And you just see the little girl playing with toys.
Hi, can I
Not
help
really
you?
doing much. So, then you see, like, as they're at
If you
their
wanna get
grandmother's
crazy,
beach home, or their
we
other
can
beach
get
home.
crazy.
Well, not their grandmother's beach home. I apologize. It's their beach home because they're rich like that. They have two different homes. They can afford that shit. But then a family just randomly shows up, and it turns out this family is their doppelgangers. A family that looks just like them.
They look exactly like us.
They think like them.
They think like us.
Just search in the trailer. Now, these,
know
as you
where
see
we
this
are.
scene right here, the little boy is like,
We need to
about to
move
light
and
a
keep
match
moving.
to set the car on fire with a family in it, but the
They
little
won't
boy,
stop
the good
until
one,
they kill
the
us.
one not in red, starts walking
Or we
backwards.
kill them.
And you see the little boy in red, the evil one, the deranged one, starts walking back into a damn pit of fire. And he just stands there burning to death because they're like puppets. Whatever their original does, the copy must follow. As I said, this makes no sense, as later on you see their doppelgangers are murdering their counterparts.
He's kidding, right?
He's not kidding. Hey, I think it's vodka clock.
Oh yeah.
Where's Jason?
Now, The movie ends with these doppelgangers. Like, you see a lot of people are dead around the
I
city.
didn't know if you were lost. Stick with me.
Like,
I'll keep
damn
you
near
safe.
everybody's dead. You see a few helicopters at the end, I believe. And you see that every doppelganger has now locked arms across the world, kind of mimicking the beginning of this
There's a
movie.
family in our
With
driveway.
the news of the,
Probably
you know,
the neighbors.
protests of locking
But y'all scared of
arms.
family? Can I help you?
Cannot remember the protest.
Zora.
But, and this was really weird because they
wanna get
stated they're
crazy,
human,
we
and
can get
so therefore they will require everything a human does need, like food, water, sleep. So is this, the way it ends, you see them all locking arms and standing there. Are they going to be there forever? Till they starve? Why was this their big plan?
What are you people?
Like, their big plan was to free themselves and cut their strings to stand locked
They
arms for
look exactly
God knows
like
how
us.
long. And that's where they
They
cut
think
off,
like
and it
us.
seems like a weird place to cut from. Because we're left with so many
They
unanswered
know
questions.
where we are.
And it was like, well, is there going to
We
be a
need to move and
sequel?
keep moving.
But there was been no official announcement yet.
They
Now,
won't stop until
what
they
saved
kill
this
us.
movie, besides, you know, the
We kill
constant
them.
tone it kept, the well-developed concept of the story, the acting, the character development, and the unsettling creepiness of the film.
Be careful.
Hang on, let me rewind this trailer again. Is that this film had a wonderful twist
Can't believe how big
that
they
the untrained viewer and a few common casual viewers and maybe a few
He's
hardcore
kidding, right?
horror fans
He's
won't
not kidding.
spot right off the bat. This
Oh,
movie
yeah.
has a masterful
Who's Jason?
twist that really makes the movie better than what it is. Like, after that twist, I instantly liked this movie
I
better.
didn't know if you were lost. Stick with me. I'll keep you safe.
Now, it turns out the little girl you see in the trailer, and the woman in red, the mother,
There's a family in our
are
driveway.
actually
Probably the
switch
neighbors.
people.
But y'all scared of
She
family?
was born underground, while the mother in red was the original child from the surface.
Put your
When she
shoes on.
went into
If you
the
wanna get
Hall of
crazy,
Mirrors,
We
the
can get crazy.
mother you see throughout the whole film, the one from the surface, it was revealed in the movie that she was the one born underground. She was the doppelganger, but she took her place on the surface, basically, essentially stealing her life, stealing her
What are you
destiny,
people?
switching lives with her. She was the original. The one in red was actually the original little girl, as you
They
saw right
look
there.
exactly
This scene
like us.
reveals that she chokes her. She actually
They
switched
think
spots
like
with
us.
her and took her life, locking her
They
underground to be
know
a
where
puppet.
we are.
Now,
We need to
this
move
makes
and keep
sense
moving.
because you see out throughout the whole film that
They won't
ever
stop
since, you
until
know,
they kill us.
they found their daughter, you know,
We
like they
kill
said,
them.
you know, she's not talking, she's acting different. This is because Heather do not know how to talk. They never speak throughout the whole movie. They communicate in grunts and yells. But the mother seemingly knows how to talk, which is strange. And you see the woman, the mother in red has an intense hatred for the
Can't believe
regular
how big they
mother, and it's really explored why when you find out that they switched
He's
places.
kidding, right?
She was born underground, not the
Hey, I
one in
think
red.
it's vodka clock.
Oh, yeah.
This twist,
Who's
you know,
Jason?
could be very predictable as I saw it coming, or I was hoping they'd do the twist because I was like, this is the only way this movie's gonna be able to redeem
I
itself.
didn't know if you
This is the
were
only way the movie's
lost.
gonna be
Stick with me.
any good.
I'll keep you safe.
Instead of just being average. And the fact that they did this twist really saved the movie in my eyes and was one of the finer points of the film.
There's a family
And
in our
was like
driveway.
a great
Probably
moment.
the neighbors.
Like it felt satisfying. It felt good.
Can I help you?
It felt like the moment. It was the highlight of the movie. It had
If you
a
wanna
great
get
twist, and
crazy,
it was really
We
made me
can
love
get
the film.
crazy.
And I think the twist was done masterfully, as there was subtle hints throughout the whole movie that the regular mother was weird from the rest of her family, and you see the same thing with the evil family, the one in red.
People.
The mother is uniquely different from the rest of the family, as we saw in car.
They look exactly
And as you
like
see
us.
right here, it was because they switched spots.
They think like us.
So it turns out that the hero of the film is actually the bad
They know
guy,
where
and the
we are.
bad guy is actually the victim.
We need to move and keep moving.
A great story
They
reversal and
won't
an
stop
excellent
until they
twist.
kill us.
And it was something
Or we kill them.
really made the movie viewer, doubt who they were cheering for. And it really played with the, thoughts, hey, she was gonna be the hero of the film, she was gonna be this badass, she was just like a loving mother protecting her family. But no, she was actually, the hero was actually the monster. And this was something I found extraordinary, excellent,
If you
and
write anything on your computer, you need to get
original.
Grammarly.
I write pretty much all day, every day, and Grammarly makes my writing.
Now, I will conclude this with my final thoughts. I would give this film a 6.8 out of 10 stars. The movie is great. It really keeps its tone. The story is excellent. The characters, the acting, all this stuff is the finer points of the film. But the fact that we have a lack of an origin for the main villains and the lack of a satisfying ending really brings the film down. And that was just like the weaker part of the film. Now, I believe if we had gotten a better origin for the villains and maybe a little bit more of a satisfying ending and had a few more questions that we had as a viewer answered, this film would be a very good and groundbreaking film. I would bump it up to an 8 to 9 out of 10 star rating. But the fact that we are left with so many questions and the ending just felt unsatisfactory, and the times that it contradicted itself by its story, by having characters break the rules that had been set up, really brings the film down to its lowest point and waters down the greatness that this film could have been. Now, I praise Jordan Peele. He's an amazing scary movie director. He gets horror movies, and he was just a master of his craft. But that does not mean his works is always going to be perfect. This film really showed that he had the perfect idea, the perfect cast, the perfect tone. Everything was perfect until it was time to fill in the blanks and bring the movie to a satisfying conclusion. With an excellent twist that the movie had, I think this film had a lot more potential and could have done a lot more than what it did. But with that being said, I found myself thoroughly enjoying the film, and I really loved a lot of the best points about it more than I did the cons. If I could change one thing, it was that it would be a more satisfying origin for the family and the doppelgangers than what we got. So that way we could have at least few questions answered instead of just sitting there after the film scratching our heads wondering what in the hell is going on. It didn't answer anything. We went into the theater with no idea where they came from, and we left with the same idea. And that, in my opinion, is what no movie should ever be. I don't think that's something any movie should ever do. So I think if they would have fixed that and fleshed out the character, the villain's origins as doppelgangers, and maybe retweaked it and gave them a completely different origin, as like from this mirror realm or shadow dimension, or just being the old saying of being a doppelganger. Like they live lives opposite of our own, yet they're us. I believe if they had gone through with that instead of the origin we got, this film would be much, much better and be more well received than what it currently is, because the concept is so good and so original, and the acting is very good, and the character development is there. Any character really goes undeveloped. Everybody gets their moment of screen time and their little moment to shine in the film. No character has ever felt really left behind and underdeveloped and squandered potential. No character really felt like that. And that was something I admired and I enjoyed about the film, but I do think that in the next Jordan Peele film, he should really start giving A, satisfactory endings, or B, going to a little bit more detail and not leave everything up to the watcher to interpret it as they please. Because I was going in, very clueless of what was going on, and I was very excited to learn, like, what was this family going to come from, and I left with knowing the same thing I did going in, absolutely nothing about them, besides a stupid plot that they're some kind of failed government experiment, which makes literally no sense. But overall, I think this film is very good, but not particularly groundbreaking. I'd give it 6.9 out of 10 stars. I'd recommend you go see this, form your own opinion. It's not a bad film. It is very watchable and it is very enjoyable. If you're like me, though, you're going to get very confused and very agitated that your questions are left unanswered and the ending does not feel satisfactory. But with the twist that they have in store for you, it is a very good film, and the twist is very much the highlight of the film and is what ultimately saved it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be doing more of these. So if you liked it, make sure you like and subscribe and comment down below. And as always, I'll be seeing you in my